Hi everyone and welcome to our final instalment of Twelfth Night. To M, my dearest love, Malvolio read aloud. Though you are my servant, you are master of my heart. Be bold and my hand is yours. If you love me, wear yellow tights, cross-gartered as a secret sign. Malvolio clutched the letter to his bosom. Olivia loves me, he burbled. I must change into yellow tights at once. As soon as Malvolio was out of sight, the laurel bushes began to shake with laughter. I knew it would work, Sir Toby told Sir Andrew. I can imitate my niece's handwriting well enough to deceive anybody. Now all we have to do is— Hush, said Sir Andrew. Someone is coming. Olivia and Viola were deep in conversation. They stopped in front of a bank of laurel bushes and Viola said, Then you have no new answer from the Duke? No, said Olivia, clutching Viola's hand. But there are answers I would give to you, Cesario, if you would only ask me the questions. Viola gently took her hand away. My lady, I am not all that I seem to be, she said tactfully. But I love you, exclaimed Olivia. I loved you from the first moment I set eyes on you. You might as well love a dream, Viola said. You must forget me, my lady, and she slipped away, leaving Olivia in tears. In the bushes, Sir Andrew quivered with rage. That chit of your youth has stolen Olivia's love, he hissed. After him, urged Sir Toby. Challenge him to a duel. That should see him off. A duel? Said Sir Andrew, alarmed. He won't dare to fight you, said Sir Toby. That Cesario is nothing but a puny milksop. He'll turn tail and run the moment you draw your sword. While Sir Andrew went to waylay Viola at the garden gate, Olivia stumbled towards the house, her eyes filled with tears. Oh, Cesario, she whispered, I must see you again, if only for a second. Then she saw Malvolio walking towards her. He was wearing yellow tights as bright as canaries, and his face was stretched into a ghastly smile. Well met, my angel, he simpered. Malvolio, said Olivia, are you feeling quite well? Never better, my sweetness, Malvolio purred, stretching out his leg. Have you noticed my yellow tights and cross garters? I could hardly miss them, Olivia replied. I think the heat has made you feverish. Wouldn't you like to lie down? Yes, with you by my side, said Malvolio. Help! Cried Olivia. Servants, take Malvolio away. He has lost his wits. Meanwhile, Viola, relieved to be going back to her master, the Duke, suddenly found herself face to face with the furious Sir Andrew. Draw your sword, vile scoundrel, snarled Sir Andrew. My sword? Viola quailed. But why? So I can fight you, Sir Andrew said. Or are you a coward as well as a villain? Reluctantly, Viola reached for her sword with trembling hand, and at that same moment, most fortunately, a loud voice shouted, Stop! A hefty sailor appeared through the gateway. If you harm one hair of this young man's head, he warned Sir Andrew, I'll carve you up like a joint of beef. Oh, said Sir Andrew, pale with fear. Well, in that case, I think I'd better— and he ran away at impressive speed. Viola felt weak with relief. How can I ever thank you, kind stranger? She said to the sailor. Stranger? Scowled the sailor. That's a fine thing to call the man who saved you from drowning and helped you to try and find your lost sister. I've been waiting for you at the inn down the road for the last 2 days, Sebastian. Sebastian? Gasped Viola. Then my brother is alive and well. Sebastian was alive and well, but totally bewildered. On his way to meet the sailor who had saved him, he happened to pass a fine house out of which he rushed a beautiful red-haired young woman. I knew you would come back, Cesario, she said, flinging her arms around him. We cannot live without each other. But, my lady, Sebastian said. Call me Olivia, my dearest, said Olivia. Sebastian looked into the eyes. He was about to tell her that she had made a terrible mistake and that his name was not Cesario. But then his heart began to beat faster as love worked its magic on him. This must be a dream, he said softly. But please don't wake me up yet, and he hugged Olivia tightly. The two of them were still embracing when Viola and the sailor discovered them. Sebastian recognised his sister and ran to her with a joyous shout. He lifted Viola high into the air, while Olivia and the sailor looked on open-mouthed. Are there 2 of him? Whispered Olivia. I don't understand. It seems so, said the sailor, scratching his head. If you ask me, my lady, someone has a lot of explaining to do. Duke Orsino waited 2 anxious hours for Cesario to return, and at last he lost his patience. He called for his fastest horse and galloped to Olivia's house. In the hall, he was met with the strangest sight: Cesario and Olivia arm in arm, and behind them a smiling priest holding a Bible. "Cesario," Asina thundered, "release that lady." "This is not Cesario, my lord," Olivia beamed. "This is Sebastian, who will soon be my husband. If you seek the one you call Cesario, look behind you." Orsino turned and saw Viola wearing a dress that Olivia had lent her. She looked so lovely, though she looked quite shy. She took Orsino's breath away, and he instantly fell head over heels in love with her. "If you take my advice, you'll marry her straight away," Olivia told the Duke. "She loves you with all her heart, and now I see her as her rightful self. I love her with all mine," Orsino declared. And so there was a double wedding in the house of Countess Olivia, and that night the windows were bright with lights, and the air was filled with the sounds of music and celebration. The laughter and singing rang through the house and reached the ears of Malvolio, who had been locked in the cellar. He pressed his face against the bars of the window and called out, "Hello? Hello? Let me out, someone. I am not mad. Truly I am not." But nobody heard him. Not that night. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed that one.